For everybody else, if you've been to my Rotary over the last couple of years, you're probably familiar with the top navigation and sort of the way to move through the site to find resources or to get to different tools. That basic layout is the same, but when you get to some of those landing pages, the interaction's a little bit different. And what we'll do is provide to John and to Chris some walkthrough guides that are, we think, more of the sort of first views or the first questions that people might ask. And that would be things like, how do you start an account and sign in? How do you update your profile? Like how do you as a club leader manage your membership through My Rotary, and then also club information. And those tools have been brought into a more comfortable century, is what I should say. The old version that existed was very difficult. It was cumbersome. You had to know exactly what to type in. You had to know exactly what to click. Now you just start typing in names and it draws information in. This is the first set of improvements or enhancements that we're releasing. There's a couple more that will be coming out a little bit later on that will affect district leadership. So some of the work that you're doing as an assistant governor, but mainly the governor line and your executive secretary, the reporting tools that you use to record your committee chairs and things like that. That's the bigger changes. And then beyond that, Rotaract will be enveloped into the website as well in a much more enhanced way for their experiences. One of the things that I'm most excited about is this opportunity for clubs to list multiple meeting times and multiple venues. And so if a club is, say, meeting in person on the first and third Wednesday of the month, but are having an online meeting the second and the fourth Wednesday of the month, they can now identify that and basically put up different cards. And I think I might, in this help guide, have a screenshot of it, and I should have prepared this a little bit more in this space. Okay, so I will share this document with you here. And this is what the help guides will look like. We have about 5 of them that we'll, again, send to you after the meeting's done, or make sure that you get a hold of. You can kind of see that the layout has changed just slightly. It's been sort of reskinned. An addition that's been added here is this home button, and this is where we feel that clubs and district leaders will come to a lot, club leaders, I should say, because the functions that exist here, if you can see where it does say club, and then my district, lead to different I guess, functionalities. An everyday club member, an entry-level Rotarian, will only see information when they get to those pages, but you as a leader will see more. And so what changes is this section over here on the right-hand side. I've been calling it a card. I don't know if there's a different word for it. I don't know if Andres knows one. But you basically can add meeting information here, the language that it's being held in, and then also some notes about it. Is there a website to send people to? Is there login information? Are you putting up a theme that week for people to come and dress in hats or be goofy? But then you can add more cards after this. So you can keep inserting information and contact information. And then when a user goes to the club finding tool on My Rotary, they get linked to this landing page as well to see all of the information about your club, rather than just cut off sentences or we meet every other week, call us for more info. You can really, really share that info out. Some other enhancements that have come are related to your user profile. We had been putting everyone's historical membership and relationships to their clubs and say past president or president of their club in 2012, 2013. Well, now it'll have, and this is, it sounds like a small change, but apparently it took us 5 years to do. Now it'll tell you what your current position is as well. So if you're a current assistant governor, it should say assistant governor on your profile. Another, what may seem like a small change, but ended up being a pretty significant thing, is that your profile will also tell you your actual Rotarian ID in the profile. And so you don't have to scratch off any stickers on your Rotarian magazine or wonder if like the 6 at the beginning and the 9 at the end have anything to do with your number. They don't. So it'll actually give you that ID. Andres, do you mind telling them about some of the other features that are coming?
Yeah, there's, sorry, I'm sort of blanking on it because I'm thinking of all the things that have been addressed were also the things that I was a little bit more excited about. But we are going to be getting a pretty useful search function, I guess, or integration. I don't know what fancy word you want to use. But essentially what we'll be doing is before, I believe being able to search for other Rotarians using my Rotary might not have been as fluid as some people might have preferred. The nice thing about what the new updated version is going to do is it's going to have pretty clear cut. You're just going to be searching for, let's say, Andres Perez. You just put my name, and then it'll give you everyone right there and then. And it should have more information than not. That way you're not hoping, oh, I hope this Andres Perez is the Andres Perez from Chicago, not from Venezuela, let's say. So it'll have a lot more information that's something that you as a user can put out there. So let's say if you wanted to have, oh, and let me backtrack. This is also going to be just for Rotarians. So if you're comfortable with another Rotarian, another club reaching out to you for, let's say, a project or just any information, they can search you up. And if you want them to see some more information about you, you'll be able to select, okay, share X, Y, and Z. That way, you have more control of your information and what people will have to see. But for everyone, the information as far as who you are as a person and what club you belong to, that will always just sort of be there. But yeah, I don't know, something that's, again, kind of like how John has been saying, it seems simple, but it's so helpful.
It really is. And I think that's the other thing that you're driving there is that you're in more control of your privacy. And as you go along, if you decide to open up a little bit more, the levels, like the buckets, I don't know what to call them, but the access levels can be different. So for some information like your email address, you can choose, I want all of Rotary to see this, I want just my club to see this, or I want no one to see this. And that's true for each of those sort of sections on your profile. So you really get to be a little bit more in control on in the process. So eventually you'll be able to interact with that group a little bit differently. And they'll actually have access to more information than they currently have. They sort of have like an entry level plus a few more things, like a few more ways of connecting with people, but now they'll actually be able to utilize a lot of the tools that are there. So that's we're sorry we didn't have the actual live environment to show you just yet. Hopefully log on tomorrow, hopefully. Test it out. Let us know if you do have any questions about it or feedback. I'll put in the chat some links to get to our contact information. But again, we'll make sure that John and Chris have access to this stuff and these walkthrough guides later on this evening to share with you. Again, just in case people have questions about it. One other tool that our team utilizes the most is Rotary Club Central. And we could talk about that for 2 hours. And I won't do that to you. We won't do that to you. I know that your district has been utilizing it a lot over the last few years. And so I guess the main thing is that if you get stuck in a position where you're having trouble describing it to a club, or maybe they're being a little bit more stubborn about utilizing the tool, check in with us and we're happy to work on some sort of selling points or some language that you could use that we've been using over the years to get people on board. With that, we just kind of wanted to share with you some of these updates. We hope that we can zoom in with you again to continue going through other products as they become available or just other thoughts. But if there's time for questions, we wouldn't mind responding to them if you have some. If not, again, we're always available by email and by phone.
I have a question.
Yeah.
John, is there any change to the integration with Club Runner?
Good question. Not that I'm aware of. At this point, the Club Runner's relationship, along with the 18 other club management vendors, is still sending us club level changes. So officers, club membership changes and that type of thing. At the district level, I don't know if there are conversations happening about sending district officer information or AG officer information. So we're still going to ask that you rely on My Rotary for now to report that kind of info.
If we have any problems with the integration, are you the guy to go to?
I think we're a starting point. And then if we can't figure it out, we'll put you in touch with somebody from our data services team who maintains that relationship with these vendors. But I think we'd be a good starting point on this. And one of the guides that we'll send to you also talks about walking a club through linking their third-party vendor to My Rotary. So if that hasn't happened for one of your clubs for some reason, or if maybe they want to check on the status of it, this guide should help walk through that process.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
What time tomorrow do you think it'll be available?
Well,
I can actually speak
the hope. Do you know this one?
a little bit. Yeah, I actually just got a little bit of a message, and we're hoping that it'll be somewhere in the afternoon of Evanston time. So while that's still broad, I would probably say maybe check like around noon or 1 o'clock Central Time. Maybe by then it should be there.
I would wait to have lunch. Yeah, I would have lunch. I think the original idea had been like 7 a.m. And we were kind of like, really? So yeah, maybe just have like a nice brunch and then come back and check it out. But we'll be posting stuff, I'm sure, on the website itself. I mean, it'll be functional. I believe there is an email that's going to go out to club level officers. And I believe the district governor and executives, but we'll double check on that listing as well. And then our team in the Americas, we talked about being part of 12 of us that represent this part of the country. We have a Facebook page that we've also been trying to post updates to as well. So I'll put that in the chat in just a second.
Will there be any training tutorials we could, watch?
Currently, it's self-guided, I believe. There are some support materials that are going to be put into the Learning Center. In my own
Okay.
opinion, it's mostly what we're going to send you by email.
All right.
I think
all right.
there's a thought that it's going to be intuitive. It's, again, not too different from the current user's experience. It's just going to be a little bit sleeker for the most general users.
And- Yeah. And
Yeah,
there's
go
better,
ahead.
there's a much better search engine. Correct?
Yes, much stronger search
That's
engine.
the big one. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. When it was working last week, it was really nice. And so, I mean, if that's what it was like in its broken stage, my hope is that tomorrow in its fuller stage would be an even nicer experience.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
you bet.
Anybody else have a question?
Sure, yeah. Anybody
I
else?
I can tell you that these guys being invited here tonight happened yesterday morning on a webinar. They gave all the district governors an opportunity to have a 15-minute lesson in school and discussion. And I said, well, why don't you join our meeting tonight? So if you wonder why that wasn't in my original email, this is hot off the press. I know they were anxious to come and meet all you great district leaders. So thank you. And again, there's Rotary support, there's Rotary data, there's John, there's Andrus. These are all people that I go to when I'm not in a good mood and I really need help. Okay. So, and you've heard me talk about that, but I hope they did well. I was professional last week when it didn't work early. So anyway, these guys will help you.
Hope we didn't let you down.
What's that?
Absolutely. Absolutely not.
Wait, John was building us up. Hope we didn't let
And I do have to do like a shameless plug, but my better half's great grandfather was district governor of 654 back in 1961, 62. So if you know the name Lauren Elliott
Okay.
from the Wabash Club,
Oh,
anyway, it's my little tie to your district. So there we go.
super.
Do you know the only international governor or president from Indiana?
No, I thought that was a question for everybody else in the room, so I didn't Google it yet.
Okay, who has I know who has the answer. Who wants to share it?
Yeah. Arthur Sapp.
From?
From Huntington,
Club.
Yes.
And what year was it?
27,
27, 28.
yeah, 27, 28.
Are we ready for Rotary trivia or not?
No kidding.
That was the year Lindbergh flew over the Atlantic, just so you know. 27.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Hey, we might steal that from you. That's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna, what tonight's plan was is that I want to hear briefly success stories from clubs, concerns about clubs that are not meeting, have not met since March. And I think the list gets smaller every day. I think I've been to 200 and some club meetings since March. I've not made one governor visit yet. They're going to start, but they're going to be virtual until the first of the year. So I'll just go down the list with all the AGs that are on here, and I'll just, I'll start with Carla. Do you have questions, Carla? Good news.
Our personal club's been meeting. Gary's been meeting, and Crown Point has been doing some virtual meetings. So everybody's plugging along. They're heading in the right direction.
Any great fundraising success stories?
We're working on a purse bingo in our club. It got postponed because of the pandemic, but we're going to do a designer purse bingo. And we're also looking into a drive-through roasted chicken dinner.
Okay, well, I'll let John Cook talk about our drive-through pancake breakfast here in a little bit. Matter of fact, John, why don't you go ahead and share your expertise?
Well, starting with the pancake breakfast we just had on Saturday. First time we've tried that before. It actually worked out pretty well. Weather cooperated, thank goodness, because we were all outside. And we set it up at the community center. We had a big drive-through, cones marking it, and we had runners take orders, and then we filled them and had them in bags ready to go. And we raised almost $1,500 for junior achievement on Saturday. So it's worked out pretty well.
To give you perspective, that's probably more than $1 a person that lives in our town. I mean, we're a small town. We have about 1,400 people, we think. Depends on how many of the folks from Illinois get counted, but anyway, it went well. Anything else, John?
Not on pancake breakfast, but I've done virtual club meetings with Fowler and Boswell, and I know Frontier Brookston has a project. They're selling bricks for the local park to raise money to refurbish it. So they've been doing a pretty good job on that. So the other two clubs are selling or have food vouchers that they're distributing for people in need during the coronavirus here. So.
All right, Doug Mock. Don't forget to unmute yourself, Doug.
All right, sorry about that. Laporte Club has been meeting regularly, as has the Valpo Club. We also do Facebook Live for those that can't attend or don't feel safe attending. Portage Club is still doing virtual meetings, and the Valpo Satellite Club is just started meeting again, and they're planning their next project. The big news in the Valpo Club is our centennial is next year in March, and as part of the project for the centennial, we committed $110,000 towards a project with the Valparaiso Public Library, where they're building a learning plaza across the street from the existing library. It's going to be an outdoor facility that people can gather and have reading programs for children. as well as can be rented for different venues. And they've broke ground for it already, and it's hopefully going to be done by the end of this year, early next year. And I'm the chair of the Centennial Committee in the terms of the fundraising, and we committed 110,000, and we have already exceeded it, and still raising money. So it's been very well supported. Rotary is going to be very well recognized in the gateway entrance. There's going to be the 4-way test, along with the door to the entrance is going to have for the door handle has the Rotary symbol. So it's getting a lot of press in the community and a lot of good press for the club. So we're very proud of that. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, Ed, you want to go next?
Sure, I'll be brief. The Mott Kankakee Valley Rotary Club has been meeting in person, and we've had a very good turnout. During the pandemic, we have worked with local food pantries and provided means of communication to local nursing homes. The Rensselaer Club has met online. I'm not sure if I think they've had some meetings in person as well. And of course, the Kentland Club is the diamond of the three with their fundraising for junior achievement. So I'd say things are going pretty well with the clubs that I'm involved with.
Okay, let's see, I'm looking down the list. Cindy?
Hello there.
Hi there.
So, hi. So you are obviously at our club today. So the Huntington Club is still doing like a hybrid. So you're allowed to jump on Zoom or come in person, whatever they're comfortable with. And then Joe, our new president, is trying to come up with some new initiatives and ideas. I have met virtually with the Wabash Club, and I've met virtually with the Manchester Club. And I have not hooked up with my other clubs yet, but I hope to soon. Michael Howe, who was in the role before me, was actually at the Huntington Club today, because he was originally going to take me around and introduce me to all these clubs, which he says he's still willing to do because I'm having a hard time with the Zoom keeping my club straight. So once I see people in person, then I think I'll have a better knack for keeping them straight, because right now I'm struggling with that. So that's all I got.
Yeah, and I can report, I've been to most of Manchester's clubs meetings and North Manchester, and they have been active. They actually had a barbecue chicken dinner about 3 weeks ago, and they grilled on Weber Grills 400 pounds of chicken overnight, and they sold all of it. And it was a hot, miserable day, so I think they did have some, you know, there's tempers get a little bit shorter in that kind of day, but I believe that was probably their best barbecue chicken fundraiser they ever had. We had I'll see if we get other clubs covered here, but all the good news I've gotten, you know, if they're doing projects, they're doing better than when they were face to face. That should say something about how ugly we are or something else, but anyway, I'm trying to promote the good news side of it. So thanks, Cindy.
You're welcome.
And let's see, we've got Lee up here.
Yeah, I'm only responsible for 2 clubs. I don't do very much. So, but Monticello and Delphi, both clubs are meeting, have been meeting in person since first week in July. Delphi also has their act together virtually. I was over there today and had a good speaker and got him up on the TV. Monticello is still, I think we've done it once or twice, but we're going to get more equipment to to get more into virtually. One of the things I noticed, and I don't know, I'd like to know what other people have noticed about these meetings now, is attendance. The two clubs that I work with are at least 50%. Delphi is even a little more. It's a small club, but today they had about 16, 17 people there. And Monticello usually runs about 50% of their 50-some people. So that was one of the things I was wondering about. Monticello is doing well. Just had a big golf outing and raised 5,000 for that, and we're looking forward to a couple more good things. We're going to be involved in a huge park project in the park, a river walk, and so that's going to occupy a lot of our time. And we've also, Delphi and Monticello are again hooking up on a project in Honduras to help build a junior high school. However, it's going to be difficult to get in there, we know, for a while. So right now we're just kind of fleshing things out. But I would like to know what others have found about attendance, especially with the live meetings.
We do hybrid, and our numbers on the Zoom really dropped off on Monday for some reason. I don't know what. When we were all only Zoom, we were doing 50 plus on a Monday. And when we started back to having our meetings at Parkview Field, we were getting, oh gosh, probably in the 20s, 25 maybe on average. And then we had like 12 on Monday for some reason. Had a good program. I don't think you could hang it on that, but I mean, I'm with club president Jeff Pete during the whole meeting, and you know, we were having that conversation about what happened. But actually, the live attendance has picked up. All right, but in total, the number is still down because the live has not picked up the over. For those that are not doing it on live or Zoom.
Here in the Mott, we only did a couple of Zoom meetings, and they were not very well attended. But now that we have been meeting in the building with lunch provided, all individually wrapped, and everybody has to wear a mask, but they can take it off when they are eating. Gradually, attendance has been picking up, and I'd say we're now probably at 60 to 70% of the club that's there. So I'm encouraged by that.
Yeah, I've been to South Bend, big club. They're usually close to 80. I've attended virtually, and I don't know where else. I was at Portage. I think, there were about 4 online today, Cindy, I think, from your club.
Yeah, most of our people, we get maybe 4 or 5 online, but most of our people, we're still getting about 25 people. I mean, we're about 10, but I think people were just missing each other. I mean, so from the moment we started doing club again, I was surprised. I especially surprised from our very old person table that all those guys always come. So I think everybody likes the camaraderie, and so I really think that we really haven't struggled too much with that. So
yeah, I've noticed emails and invitations, and you're the one that says you're confused about meetings. You ought to be in my calendar.
I can imagine.
I tried to go to Kendallville tonight, but I didn't. The bell didn't ring. I pushed the button 5 times. So anyway, you know, I have I've seen clubs that started meeting and they got pushed back, and people said, no, we're not ready to meet. And then we've had clubs that had a case of COVID at the place where they met. I mean, I could give you just about every scenario in the world.
Yeah.
So, but I think overall, I don't think attendance is better, but I do see like North Manchester, where they've got a steady contingent of people that are coming to the meetings. And like I said, with the chicken barbecue, when they have a project, they showed up. So we had what, John, probably, I think I had 15, 16, maybe Kentland members out of 26 that worked Saturday. And we had close to that many online today for the program. And so, I just wanted to hear some feedback.
Yeah, that pancake breakfast was the first time we've been together since March, so it's all been virtual. It's kind of nice to see everybody.
Yeah, it was. All right. Any other assistant governor? Jim, I didn't check with you yet, I don't think.
No, I've got my list ready to go. I'm going to go from north to south. Let's start with Churubusco. I was at they only do live meetings. And I attended their last meeting in July. And at that meeting, they were sitting around the table writing checks for scholarships. And the profile of the Churubusco Club is they do many projects in the community, and really, I think apart from the giving to the foundation, most of the money that they raise, it goes to projects right there in Churubusco. And there are a lot of projects that they have a foot, more than a foot in the pond in terms of participation. That's been their modus operandi, and it's worked for them, and it's great. Anthony Wayne, they're doing now hybrid, and I was there last week, and it was announced that this group called JAM, which is a woman here in Fort Wayne who started a program for high school students who never quite fit into the structure of a building and a teacher and a textbook and all of that. She teaches these kids how to prepare meals, and they actually have a truck where they take it out on mobile food fairs. And so they ended up writing a check last week for $550, which is one scholarship for a student the whole year. So they've taken the plunge and have gotten involved with that. I was at their meeting when the director of that program, this lady, gave the talk, and it was excellent. Then we've got Fort Wayne. Okay, we do hybrid. We, in terms of what are we doing for fundraisers, really twofold. Our golf outing typically is in August. Well, they pushed it, so it's going to do it probably in the first 5 days of October. But they've made the decision that all the net proceeds from that will go to Polio Plus. Secondly, at Fort Wayne would be the fact that the Indian projects for the cath labs and other health equipment and facilities that are primarily been funded by Dr. Kalapari. He has stepped up because the money he has given to the foundation, right? And then monies that Rotarians gives in addition to that. It used to be Rotary International would match both of those amounts. Well, as of July 1, they're only matching what he gave. So to encourage people to still give, what he is doing is he has so many points in his bank that he is giving out triple points between now and the end of the year in the 4 clubs, which are under my district assistant governor job. So that message has been getting out to help fund those and triple your points. He has like over 100,000 points in the Rotary Foundation because of the fact that he has he's I think it's now close to $1 million, and his plans are even to take it to 2 million over several more years. The Summit City South Club, they are going, in fact, their meeting is Thursday, and I'm going to be on that, but they strictly do Zoom only. They were actually doing Zoom before COVID because their meeting place was under construction. And then when COVID came along, they just extended it. I think probably they're going to try to get back to live meetings in September. But they are joining forces with our club, the Fort Wayne Club, to get, we started a peace committee. That was probably about 2 months ago. And so they want to join forces with a peace initiative that is specific to Fort Wayne. And Summit City South deals in that part of town where you have minority, and therefore they're very active working with the minority population and the different community associations in that part of town to partner with, like, I know as an example, they're building a community center for them. So they're going to, they want to be a part of that, give us ideas in terms of things that they see in that part of town where we can join and bring and put some real well-defined goals and objectives for that peace committee. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Does anybody else that I didn't skip anybody? I've got a couple things that are going on in the district that I want to share, and I don't want this to be our last thing we do before we go to bed tonight. So I think first of all is that we have a team of 8 members in our district. Carla, Lee, Jane, Kim, Ed. We're trained by Laura Carey from the zone on a what I call a NIC program, and that's new and innovative clubs and membership. And we have begun investigation, and here's tentatively what might happen. And again, there's been no votes, but we are looking at a satellite club, probably sponsored by Huntington in the Roanoke area. And I've talked to Joe Santa. It's great to have a president named Santa because I always wanted to talk to Santa. And so that worked out good. But anyway, that's a possibility. Tim and Barb Walkman are looking at the possibility at Sweetwater Sound for a corporate club. They have like 800 employees on site. And then we move to the new 7th area of focus, which is the environment. Doug and I spoke about that a little bit earlier. But we, I think Carla, Jane, and I had a good meeting with Natalie, who's president of the Gary Club last week, Thursday. And her email says Save the Dunes. That gives you a clue. She works for the national, well, others that we have connected with. The Heinz Trust, which is Valpo, and then we have some others, LaPorte, Michigan City, Jim Wellborn is connected, and many of these people know him. So we are looking at some things to deal with the environment, and that could be a satellite club, it could be an e-club, who knows what it's going to be. It could be a Rotaract club. I also can tell you that there are rumors, and Jane, who was the one we talked about today, and you reminded me, who said they were thinking about starting a Rotaract club at Trine.
Angola.
I think that LaPorte is considering that at Purdue Northwest, and there may be a couple more. So those are some things that are going on with membership. We're currently planning some kind of event for the foundation, and that will probably be virtual. my original plan that I've unplanned and I'm now replanning was that we were going to meet at wineries this year. But I'm afraid most wine, there you go, Jane. There's probably not enough room to pull that off yet. But we are looking at some ideas that we got, I guess, last Saturday at the our zone training. Actually from Jessica Hain, who's my counterpart in Southern Indiana, but she works for Oliver Winery. So those of you that have been anywhere and had her free wine, she's a wonderful person. Jane is working to organize now a new strategic plan for our district. We have one that we are finishing, I guess, from 2017-18. I don't know that we're really going to ever finish it, but we have completed about everything we said we were going to do. Is that correct, Jane?
Yes, they had listed one priority in a lot of different areas, and most of those have been met. They had some other options within there, so we'll look at those as maybe next steps, but also getting input from each of you as we move forward on things that you see district can do to improve the district overall, but really start with improving our clubs and then moving up the ladder to improve our district, both in terms of membership, foundation giving, innovative club ideas, and making clubs vital, fun. So.
Okay, well, I may not have made my goal of 6:15, but does anyone else have any comments? Oh,
I would just say one thing to them. If you have a chance to go on to, once my Rotary's back up, or you can get on to, if you can view the recording of the High Functioning Clubs virtual meeting that was last Saturday, it was an excellent meeting and had a lot of great ideas, not just for new clubs and ideas, but just ways to make clubs more vibrant, more in touch with their members. I just thought it was an excellent, there were just some excellent ideas there to stay focused on our members and how we can make them more engaged and involved. So take an opportunity to do that. It was, I thought, very well done. And
Jane,
John said Jessica Hain she really did a great job of facilitating, but all of the other presenters were great.
Is that on Rotary.org or is that in Zone Heart of America?
it's on Zone 3031.
3031, okay.
Yeah, that's true. So you should
PowerPoint
be able to
slides,
catch it.
recordings, everything that they kept is on Zone 3031.
I'm sorry, that is on Zone 3031.
So we can still do that, John. We don't need my Rotary working. We're going to go.
True.
You
ahead.
can still check out my Rotary after you're done watching that video. My Rotary might be back up by then. I actually have one more thought, if that's okay. I'm sorry to keep everybody, but it was about in-person meetings, and I know that we spoke with you about this yesterday, John. But for everybody else in the room, if you're getting the question from your clubs about providing a waiver to attendees, and what's Rotary's position on having a waiver, our position is that we do recommend that a club have one, or that a district have one, or whatever function have some kind of waiver. Unfortunately, because every state is handling the pandemic a little differently, and even every county is handling it a little bit differently, we're unable to draft a template for that waiver. And so we're going to be sending out some language to the governors a little bit later on in the next couple of weeks or so that just reiterate that thought. So if you are approached, the recommendation is that a club works with local legal counsel, or a group of clubs could do that same type of thing to come up with a draft that makes the most sense for their immediate area. The other final thought that I have is, in a selfish way, I've been going around to a lot of Zooms and taking photos of a lot of groups and posting it on my Facebook page. I was wondering if I could get everyone's permission to take a photo of this group gathered tonight, just to kind of say that much. I don't know, just to show Facebook we're having fun.
Yeah, everybody smile. Yeah.
Smile, or keep it PG. Yeah, exactly. All right, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you.
Well, thanks.
John, one thing on the waiver,
Yes.
Parkview Field where we meet, we had to sign their waiver.
Okay.
So are you proposing that there'd be 2 waivers, a Rotary waiver, and in this case, the venue waiver?
Potentially, because we as an organization aren't able to cover that through insurance. And so it might be something that your club would want to have on hand saying this is a message from our club. The venue obviously should, for their own protection or their own reasons, have their own waiver as well. Maybe that language looks the same as that venue. But it's something that you might want to run just by a lawyer or somebody who offers legal advice like that. To see if that one would count toward your use.
Hey, Chris, you have anything?
Other than as John just talked about the insurance thing, I know my home club, the Rensselaer Club, and other clubs have had that question, and I've referred them back because honestly, the liability question is one that a lot of people just don't think about. So.
Yeah, we have been notified twice in the last month from Rotary International that their policy does not cover. All your club presidents got that. Not all of them read it or keep it, but COVID is not covered. So we want to keep that in mind. And any feedback you have after tonight, if you've read the newsletter, okay, suggestions for improvement. It's going to change next month that we think is going to have a little different view. Thanks to Chris and Jane Delegati. They're going to come out on the 1st of the month. If you have clubs, I think last month I put in several bits of club news and I got a positive response from that. There's a lengthy email going to the presidents probably tomorrow that will be sent to you. So pay attention. And as I've told everyone, I'm the first district governor that sent money back from pets to every club. Okay. And I'm the first governor that has charged no district dues for the 6 months. And I am not running for this job again. Okay. So there's my smiley face. Thanks for joining us, and finish your cocktail, have another one, take the rest of the day off. Thank you, John, Andres, everybody.
Thanks for having us. Good to see you.
Nice. Thank you again, guys.
Appreciate you joining us. All right.
Thanks for all you do.
Thanks, you too. We'll talk soon.
Chris, are you going to record this chat?